Hi, and welcome to Tennis Volley Talk with Brian Danielson. Hey, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about where I'm at. Right now, if it was not thundering and lightning out, right now I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, uh, visiting a friend of mine. And what I'm doing is I'm at Case Tennis Center at La Fortune Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I grew up here at the Case Tennis Center before it was just called La Fortune Tennis Center. And boy, they have done some improvements. They have an inside tennis court back behind me. They built brand new inside tennis facility over there a little bit ways away, and then also some six more tennis courts, brand new, added, expanded for outdoor play. So it's really becoming a big tennis facility right now. But basically, what I do want to talk about is a little bit of last week with the grass tennis courts with the men. And you had actually last week Halle and Stuttgart tennis on grass leading up to Wimbledon right now. Francis Tiafoe actually won his fourth grass tournament on grass now. Francis, he beat and defeated Taylor Fritz. That's coming back from knee surgery, so he may not have been all prepared and maybe ready for the grass yet. So he just has to watch himself with that, because grass can be very slippery at certain points. So you just got to be careful of injury and leg injury too. But anyway, he beat Taylor Fritz 6-4, 6-4, and then in Stuttgart also that next following week, and that week that it finished with Stuttgart, Ben Shelton beat Taylor Fritz again. So Taylor Fritz was on the losing end again, and he lost Sheldon won 6-4, 2-6, 6-4 in 3 sets. And in the WTA with the women, we have Nottingham and Berlin, and Marie Baskakova won and defeated Emma Navarro 7-6 and 5, 4-6, 6-2. And Emma's coming back, and she's playing pretty strong on the grass, so she has a pretty good chance with Wimbledon also. And then we have Linda Noskova, and defeated Alexandra Ella 6-2, 6-4. And then this week we have Birmingham and Eastbourne here coming up this week. So that should be pretty good with the tennis tournaments. And, right in the background, you can actually see some of the tennis being played on the court, on the inside court here. So it makes it kind of fun to be at least inside and out of the rain. So, yeah, it was raining and lightning pretty good, and thunder, some pretty big ones too. So with that, that was about it with the play that's been going on last week, and then this week it's leading up to Wimbledon. So who do you think might be winning Wimbledon? Like, comment, and subscribe on my podcast, Tennis Volley Talk. And for you YouTubers out there, you're going to be hearing about the racket of the week, and then you can take and look. And if you want to take a look at the racket that I'm going to be talking about, you can certainly take a look at it for sure. And with that too, you do then have, you have also the odds-on favorite, Rabakina and Sabalenka. You have Pegula, you have Anisimova, you have maybe dark horse Navarro. But then with that too, you have the men, which should be Yannick Sinner, possibly the heavy odds-on favorite. You might have Alexander Zverev, that actually won the French Open, that might have gained the confidence, and he has the big game to match with the grass. So he may do a deep run within Wimbledon itself. So that will be pretty good too, I think. So anybody that has any predictions, make a comment and would like to see a comment. And who do you think might win Wimbledon? And take it that from there. And with that, I'm going to be here probably next week. I'll be back at home, and then I'll be doing the podcast from home next week back in Minnesota. But yeah, being here in Oklahoma, I got to tell you, being outside and in the sun and at 80, 82, 85 degrees, the humidity is really, really a lot higher than it is in Minnesota. So even when it's hot in Minnesota, it's hotter feeling here. But I managed to do okay. I went out and hit some tennis a little bit with a friend of mine, John Ravenscroft, that I have had on my tennis podcast before, and interviewed him. And we hit the ball pretty good. And then I actually met and went to an old court that I used to hit with. And then lo and behold, I saw a young kid out there hitting, a 16-year-old Ian. And so I decided to hit with him. So we hit for another hour, and we were hitting the ball pretty good back and forth. And he has a potential to have a pretty good game, but he was telling me that, I was hitting the ball pretty good, was surprised that I was still out there and hitting the ball that good. So, but I really enjoyed hitting with him. It was really a fun time to be able to hit with somebody that young, and maybe tell them some other, tips and how to hit the ball better a little bit. But he did like that a little. He did like that. But anybody that's out there, like, subscribe, and comment. If you do like what I'm doing, I am having a possibility that I can get some other pros that I've talked to over this last year that will be hopefully joining me on my podcast. It's just a matter of looking for the email and trying to get the email to make the invite. So hopefully I can get some more emails so I can invite some of those pros so you can hear their tennis journey. If you do like that with my podcast, like, subscribe, and comment. And then for you YouTubers, like, subscribe, and comment. You'll see the racket of the week that will be coming. You'll hear about the racket of the week coming up with this. But right now, with the podcast here today, I do have the racket of the week. It's actually called the Contender. It's a Spalding racket, racket of the week. And I like the color. It's a white at the throat, and the head of the racket has the hard maple, probably for the top part of the head of the racket. And then also with that too, the white, and then it has the black kind of a throat starting as a tennis player hitting the ball. And it's called the Contender Spalding. It has the S. And it actually has the S on the bottom here too, with the Spalding symbol on it too. And it has the S for Spalding on it. It has ribbons on these older rackets too. And the ribbons, actually, for anybody that doesn't know and is joined and doesn't know what this is for the rackets, it was to preserve and keep the laminated layers of the racket, especially at the head of the bottom head of the racket, at the yoke, at the Y part, to keep those from ungluing, because they're all layered together in layers and glued together. So they kind of kept that in to keep the racket from coming apart. And they stayed in existence for up until, the metal rackets that started coming out in the early 80s. And so they quit doing that because they had the steel and metal rackets also. And with that, you also have these little strings right here. This is actually called trebling, and actually it started back in the early 1800s and then lasted up until 1950. And then they started coming out with the newer strings and the synthetic strings and everything like that. But trebling, that was actually the precursor to what the string savers are now, with the little string saver, the Wilson string saver and stuff like that. Now these strings were probably from the manufacturer that put the racket together and actually strung it and sent it to the sporting goods places in order to sell the racket. Still a very good straight racket too. You can hit the racket, it has the leather grip on it. It's actually a 4 5/8 grip, which is about my size. I like that size grip. With that, they're very good racket here. So like, subscribe, and comment if you do like that. With that, so we wanted to show you a nice racket here for the racket of the week, and very good racket here. Very sturdy still with that. And also with Spalding too, the Spalding name, with the Spalding name, you actually had the founding in 1876 by Albert Goodwill Spalding in Chicago, Illinois, a pitcher and manager for the Chicago White Stockings. His brother Walter Spalding was one of the first to use high-profile athletes to endorse the products, when the player Pancho Gonzalez was one of the first ones to sign exclusive contract in 1951. In 1904, they patented the laminated stripes between the wood and layering of the racket so that they could have the layers of the racket, hence with putting the ribbons there to hold the racket together and keep it from not coming unglued. So that's what the ribbons were for on the rackets back then. And Spalding was selling imported rackets as early as 1878, making it one of the first American lawn tennis dealers that did not start making their own rackets until about 1905. So that's kind of a little history on Spalding itself. And so I hope you do like the history that I do try to give out there. With this, I wish I did have somebody that was a co-host here or sitting in that I could give a short interview with, but evidently nobody around here today, except for the people playing in the background in the indoor tennis court here at Case Tennis Center at the Fortune Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's been really fun being back here in my old stomping ground. Went back to a few tennis courts actually that I used to play at, and they've been resurfaced in the last time I was here. So they're back up and running again with tennis courts. But some of the tennis courts that I went to, one of them in particular had 4 pickleball courts, and then they had 2 badminton courts. They had the higher nets that looked like it was for badminton laid out on the tennis court, and then only 1 tennis court used, and then the other 2 courts that they would have had for tennis, they were made a sport court for basketball players. So only 1 tennis court being used for tennis players. So I think that park actually for the tennis players kind of a bit got abandoned after they made the pickleball courts and the courts that they decided to get rid of for tennis. So people do come, and La Fortune here, the Case Tennis Center, is really kind of the hub for anybody that's playing tennis around here in Tulsa right now. And then that's where they have a lot of the tournaments. On July 3rd, for anybody that would like to, it's $30, and you can then actually do this as a join and have a mixed doubles tournament on a wood rackets, which would be really kind of fun to do. And that would be a really fun, interesting tournament to be in. It's from 8 to noon on the 3rd of July here in Tulsa. So anybody out there that might want to call up the Case Center, and from wherever they're at, be sure and give them a call, and so you can come and join that tournament. And it's Wimbledon whites. You got to wear white, and then plus the wood racket for the tournament. So that they do kind of fun things like that too. So I may have to maybe hurry home and then get myself some white shorts. I have a white shirt, so and then hurry back and maybe get into it. I don't know. But I might do that. I'd still like to try to do that. That'd be a fun thing to do. So anyway, with that in mind, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me on my tennis volley talk tennis podcast. Again, thank you, and anybody out there outside playing when it's not raining, keep on playing outside, and then we'll talk to you next week and see what I can come up with. And have a great week, everybody.
Okay, done. You did it.